I'm on the road to recovery in Castle Rock, Colorado. Live from Millville, New Jersey, I'm on the road to recovery. We're on the road to recovery in Morgantown, West Virginia at Mountaineer Field. And live in Scranton, Pennsylvania, I'm on the road to recovery. Here I am on the road to recovery from Berlin, Maryland. Hey, from Caseville, Michigan, I'm on the road to recovery. I'm on the road to recovery at Ann Arbor, University of Michigan. Well, on the road to recovery, recently visited Jacksonville, Florida, and got to sit down with Patrick Bowles. What a great kid, what an incredible story, overcoming addiction through health and wellness is such a big part of his recovery. Now married with a beautiful child, Patrick Bowles is really doing amazing things in his life, sharing his recovery with other people. On the road to recovery from Jacksonville, Florida with Patrick.
Well, I grew up right here in Jacksonville, Florida. I was born and raised in a little neighborhood known as Arlington. And I would say that it all started my second year of junior high, or the summer between my first and second year of junior high. I spent my first year in junior high fighting all the time on a daily basis. At the time, there was still a lot of racial tension in the Duval County public school system. I was one of only a few white kids in a predominantly African-American neighborhood, and I had to fight every day. Money stolen, beat up in the hallway, shoved in the lockers, the typical stuff. And in that summer between 6th and 7th grade, I started running with the other guys in the neighborhood that I noticed weren't getting beat down every day. And they were the goths and the metalheads and the freaks. And we were into the same music, so I kind of clicked up with them. And that's where the drugs and alcohol entered my life, which of course at first was smoke a cigarette, drink a beer, smoke a joint. Eventually that led to everyday use of powder cocaine at 12. And then it progressively got worse. I was a daily powder cocaine user at the age of 15 years old. And one day I went out to throw myself a little private pity party, and I ended up in an apartment over there in Arlington, and I took my first hit of crack cocaine. And it took me 8 long years to get away from that. I had successfully smoked the love of my parents, their support. I smoked my relationship with my daughter, whom still to this day I haven't seen in almost 2 years. And then when I went to Gateway, I was beat up and beat down enough to be willing to try something different. Now, before going to treatment, I never knew anything about recovery. I never knew anything about detox or anything of that nature. So when I landed myself in detox for the first time with Gateway, I realized that there was finally a place that I belonged. There was finally a place that I could go. There was finally people who understood where I was coming from. And I fell in love with that idea. And so I enrolled in residential treatment with Gateway Community Services. And that's what dropped me headfirst into the life that I have now, which is a life of sobriety and purpose in my life today. Today, my life is completely different than what it was. Am I still dealing with the wreckage of my past? Absolutely. I deal with that on a daily basis, and there's nothing that I can do but continue to trudge forward with that, you know. So many things that I'm learning about life and recovery and sobriety on a daily basis, you know. It's funny now, if I look back to where I was a year ago today, I'm completely different from the person I was then. I grow a little more and more each day, that I just stay sober, and that I work a program, and that I try to do the next right thing in everything that I do. I used to listen to my dad pray that God would help me. As I would be hiding out in my room, trying to numb myself with drugs, my father was in the other room praying for me. And now as I do something to help my dad, he's on his knees thanking God for me. This is not a life that I would have ever thought possible. You know, I have a wife and 2 kids that depend on me. If I tell my wife that I'm going to go pick up our daughter from summer camp at 5:30 every day when I get off work, she knows I'm going to be there. She has confidence that I'll be where I say I'm going to be. No one in my life could have ever taken me at my word that I would be anywhere. No one could have ever trusted me to be responsible for anybody or anything. Not even me. I couldn't trust me. I thank God for everything that I have today, because if it wasn't for him and the programs and the treatment centers, I'd probably be dead. I really and truly would. I mean, we'll put it this way. 8 years of my life was spent as a bottom-feeding crackhead. The past little over 2 years of my life has been the way it is now. And I've traveled the world. I've raised money for not-for-profit organizations. I've told my story. I've sponsored men in the rooms. I've brought a son into this world. I was there when my son was born. Moved into my first house. Began building a career. I have a great relationship with my wife and kids. I have a great relationship with my mom and dad. I have a beautiful relationship with friends that I've made since coming around the rooms and around the centers and around recovery that you could have never told me I would have. Recovery for me is, it's everything. If it wasn't for my recovery, I'd be dead long ago. And it had nothing to do with me, because when I entered treatment, it was not by my own doing. A family member of mine had gotten so fed up with all the rigmarole and all the foolishness that they told me I had one of two options, and that was prison or treatment. And you know, I actually weighed those options for a moment. Then I took a look in the mirror and realized I probably wasn't going to do so well in there. I only weighed about 110 pounds at that point. And when I went in, everything that those people were telling me made sense. Everything that I heard, I could relate to. And I'd never been so excited in all my life to tell a room full of strangers that I was an alcoholic and a drug addict. Because when I said that for the first time, nobody looked away from me. Nobody pretended like I wasn't there. Nobody dismissed me. They welcomed me with loving arms. And those people have been in my life right up until this day.
Pat, thanks so much for spending time with us. Thanks for your inspiration and hope. I'm glad to have you in my life and have you inspiring other people. On the road to recovery, Jacksonville, Florida, I'm Michael DeLeon, and we'll see you on the next episode.